Hey everyone, it's me Alex. Welcome to a brand new video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to get started with your new Canvas course on Canvas. Either if you're using a Canvas for an institution, for example a university or school, or if you're using Canvas free for teachers. So in this video I already created my course. If you're in a university or a school, usually your admins already create your course. So you should see that, but of course it might be blank. I don't know how that works. I just have Canvas free for teacher, so I don't have anything on here. So I'm going to show you how to get started. As you can see, there's nothing on this course. It's not published, and there's nothing here. Everything it doesn't have anything. So, but before we get started, hi, to anyone new here, my name is Alex Torres. I do helpful technology videos, so make sure that subscribe button is free and it would help my channel grow. Thank you. So anyone new to my channel or viewers that have been here before, I'm going to be starting this new series on my channel called Getting Started with Canvas. So essentially what this playlist or series is going to be is that I'm going to be explaining everything step by step, because I feel like if I put everything in one video it's going to be too much information. So I'm going to split everything to separate videos. I also have created a playlist if you want to check it out. Of course it's blank. This is going to be its first video, so you can see it in the description. You're going to see that video called, or the playlist called Getting Started with Canvas. When you first get your account and you start your blank course, you're going to see this, create a module and all of this. So you might be thinking, whoa, how can I start? So I'm going to go through each page. Home is technically your home page, where you're gonna set your home page, as you can see right here, course home page. But I'm going to do that right now in a little bit. So you have your home page that you choose later before you publish your course. Announcements, which allows you to announce like important stuff to your students. Assignments is where you're going to publish your assignments, of course, for the course, and split things by category and weight if you want to. Discussions is where you can do group discussions or just student discussions. Like, for example, watch this mini YouTube video and tell me what it's about in 3 to 5 sentences. Grades is where you're going to publish your grades and everything on Canvas. Of course, there's nothing here right now, so that's why it's blank. People, I'm not going to click on people, but technically people shows you, because it shows my email and all that. I don't want to make that public, but it essentially shows you everyone that's in your course and how to add people in your course. Pages is if you want to make, for example, let's say a reference page that says like how to view grades on Canvas, a little short mini page that allows students to view it when you create one that says how to look at your grades on Canvas. Like, for example, steps. They're not assignments, but pages just for them to look at. Files is where you're going to be, where all your files are for the course. So for example, if you create it, of course, this course is empty, but if you have, let's say, assignment number 1 and you have a file there, it would be right here. Syllabus is where you can paste your actual syllabus for your course on here, or you can technically push on edit and just paste the link right here of your syllabus. Let's say it's a Google Drive, Google Doc, or any other, or Word document. Outcomes is if you want to make like an outcome once they finish the course. For example, improve, I don't know, like their English skills, their reading skills. Rubrics is if you, of course, if you have a project, and of course this is blank, but let's say if you have a project and you want to be graded like on your sentences, your sentence structure and all that stuff, you would add a rubric. You don't technically have to add them on rubrics right here, but you can add them on the assignment itself. Quizzes, this is where you're going to create your quizzes for, as you can see, course quizzes on Canvas. So for example, let's say exam 1, English grammar, or quiz, or any quiz. Modules. This is the most common one on Canvas, modules. It lets you split stuff by week, by subject, or by resource. For example, you can add pages, quizzes, external links, text headers, and I'll show you what all that means in a minute. Big blue button is like a conferencing system that you can allow. So for example, let's say conference number 1, project check-in. You can create a conference and allow students to pick a date and time to connect with you. Collaborations. This is if you're going to use groups in your course. So for example, if you're going to collaborate via Google Docs, you want to allow a link that allows them to connect to their group. Chat. This is if you want to chat with your students on Canvas. I don't recommend this, but I'm going to show you how to turn it off later if you wish. So you can see it shows you everything that's online. They can be chatting with other students and all that. So if you have for a course, probably you might want to turn this off. I'll show you later. And then attendance. So this is where you would take attendance for your course. Of course, there's no students here. They would appear right here. New analytics is where you're going to see how many people check your course and in-depth details about the course. As you can see right now, it's blank. There's nothing here because I don't have anything in here. Google Drive, this is an external tool, so they can submit stuff via their Google Drive. Office 365, this is also pre-installed by Canvas, but you can anytime remove these. Lucid is like a whiteboard system that allows you to draw or show notes. I've never used it before, but that's what I'm thinking, I'm guessing. And then of course, your course settings. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get your course settings all set up. And then in future videos, I'm going to be showing you in depth how to use all of this. So course image, this is where you can choose your course image. For example, if you have like a Bitmoji or something, you can add it right here. Your course name. Again, if your university or school does your course, you should already have a pre-named course. And then course code. If you have a course that I'm creating right here, you would of course edit that information right here. And then time zone. This is important. Sometimes it's wrong. As you can see, this is not my time zone. So I'm going to do Pacific time. And then, of course, you want to click on update course or it's not going to work. So as you can see right now, it's going to say settings saved. There you go. Course was updated. So that's the first thing you want to check. Sometimes the time zone is incorrect. Term. So how participation. How are students going to participate in the course? So you can do term. That means that you automatically conclude the course when it's done or delete it. Or you can do the course one. So as you can see, you can do when the course starts. So let's say it starts on Monday at 12 a.m. and then it ends in August 1st. So as you can see, course is going to expire at midnight. So what you can technically do is restrict the students from opening the course before the start date and then restrict them from opening. Let's just say you don't want their students to see the course anymore. All this means is if you choose to do the end and start date, all that means is restricting the view. So for example, the course starts on May 19th at 5 p.m., but you don't want the students to see it on their dashboard yet at 5 or before 5 p.m. So you can restrict the view of students from viewing it. And of course goes the same with the locking. For example, the course already ended, let's say November 7th. You can also restrict the view for that. So students can no longer open it once the course ended. So for example, if they try to open it, they might see an access denied screen on their Canvas dashboard, or if they have a direct link to the course. Again, this is optional. You don't have to do it. Usually admins or universities already set this up for your course. Or if you're using Canvas for Teacher, you could also do this here as well. The course anymore. In this demo, I'm going to click on term. It doesn't really matter because you're technically going to do stuff on the course anyways, or delete it at your own time. A default due dates. So this is usually the default, the 11:59, of course, in any class. I recommend you keep it at 11:59 because all it means that because it's the default, it's always going to be due at 11:59. When I'm going to show you in future videos on the assignments tab, you can still do any due date. Language. I just recommend you keep it on not set. File storage, this all depends with your course or on your institution. So of course, this is Canvas free for teachers. So I technically only have 1048 megabytes, but that's of course varies with your course, or maybe it's the same. So this is the important one right here. I'm going to skip this one because I don't recommend you turn this on. So course grading scheme. This is really important right here. So we're going to do course grading scheme. Right now, technically our course is on the default settings, meaning when you enter grades on the grade book, it's just going to be a percentage. It's not going to, if you want your students to see A, B, C, D, etc., you need to enable this. Of course, if you copy this from an institution course, probably they already have that set up for the course. But this all varies. So I'm going to show you how to set this because this one is actually pretty important. So of course, Canvas has their default. You can view it. It tells you what the letter grade and percentages are. But I'm going to go ahead and create a new grading scheme. Let's just say grading. And I'm not going to make it all fancy. Of course, you can add A+, A-. I'm just going to do the default. So 100 to 90 is an A. 90 to 80 is a B. I'm just going to do this really quick. B70, oh, I think I messed it up. 70. I think that's wrong. There we go. D70 to 60. And then let's just do 61 to 0 is an F. So you can save that. So there you go. So now your grading scheme, of course, oh, there it is, 60 to 0. So this is our new grading scheme. So now if the student is within 90 to 80%, they're going to have a B. If they have of course, that will all vary once you grade assignments. And then I just recommend that when you change something, just click on update course. It saves its settings. As you can see, it's going to save right now. Course was successfully updated. And there we go. Our grading scheme is there. License, you want to keep this on private. Because if you're a course and you don't want other people on Canvas to do your stuff or join your course. So just keep this on private. And then there's nothing much to do on here. But if you're like a Canvas Reaver teacher, you might want students to enroll themselves with the URL. You would enable this, and then it will show you a secret URL code that they can use to join your course. I'm not going to do it because it's going to show the URL, and I don't want people joining this course because this is just for demonstration. This is going to get deleted after. And this might be another cool setting. Show recent announcements on the course homepage. So as you can see, once you create announcements, right now I don't have anything. You can show 3 announcements on the main course homepage. So people on the main page, they don't have to go through the announcements tab. They can just see the newest 3 announcements on the main page. These are on by default, so I highly recommend you keep them on. High totals and student grade summary, no, because then they won't be able to see their total grade. So just keep that checked off. And then this is another important feature on Canvas, grade distribution graphs from students. So this allows I'm going to insert a quick little example of another course. So as you can see, this little example shows you the score you got, how many points it's out of, and the little graph below, this is what this setting is for. The students can see their their score, or the class high average, the mean, which is the middle, and the lowest score. But the little circle you see on that little graph represents their score. No one else can see that but their own score. But if you don't want to show that little chart to anyone, just disable this. Click on the high grade distribution graphs from students. And then no one will be able to see that little chart, but it's kind of a cool feature so students can see how well they perform. So once you're done, you can click update course details. And then our course settings are saved. So sections. This is an important one for if you are in a university Let's say you teach the same course, but at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., you can create sections. So let's say section 1, section 2, section 3, and you can move the students within that section. Navigation. So this is an important one as well that I was talking about. You see all these settings right here? Including, well, not including right now because there's nothing on them, but all of these sections right here, students can access on their own homepage. If I click on, I'm not on them right now, but every student will be able to see this page. So for example, you don't want students to see who's in the course. You know, it's your classmates, but you don't want who's on there. You can click on people and disable. So now students will not be able to see these pages, anyone that you block. So you can see they won't be able to see people. Here, you guys can choose what to block, but I'm going to do some blocking right now so students don't see certain pages so you guys can see what I do. I don't want students to see files because, for example, if you have an answer key module that I'll show you in a little bit, if you upload stuff, students will be able to see it. Even though the module may be locked, students can go to the files section and could still probably see it. So you can keep files unlocked, but I'm going to block it. I'm going to block on pages is actually a good one to keep because if you create, unless you add the pages into a specific module, but I'm going to keep pages actually. Outcomes, I'm going to go ahead and block outcomes. I'm going to block rubrics because they can see the rubric on the actual assignment. I'm going to block the big blue button, collaborations. Oops, where'd it go? Collaborations. And this is the one I said I recommend, or it's up to you unless I'm going to block on or disable chat. And I'm going to block Lucid because I'm not going to use that. And Office 365 is totally okay, especially if you're in a university, people are going to submit within different types. So when you're done blocking or which sections you don't want to show, you click on Save. In a little bit right now, when it refreshes, as you can see, those pages were moved down. So now as you can see, it says disabled, not visible to students. So this means those on their navigation bar, they're not going to see that at all. As you can see, it says disabled. But you can still click it as the instructor. You can still see it. These are still visible to students, but because I have not added anything, it's blank. So that's why it says, because there's nothing there. Apps. So this is important or actually really helpful. For example, this is where you can add apps that you use all the time. So let's say Edpuzzle. You can add your Edpuzzle, add the app. You need to add your consumer key and shared secret. That's going to be on your domain that's given to you by your institution. So for example, in the Edpuzzle account, they should see, if you go to the about or course info or account info, you should see these. You just paste it and it will be there. And then here's a lot of apps. You can add all of these apps. For example, Canva, that's a good one as well. Or an important one a lot of people use is Dropbox. So as you can see, once you have it, you can add the app. It's going to be called Dropbox for Canvas, or you can just leave Dropbox. I'm going to keep it like that. And then as you can see in a little bit, now it says it's installed. If we refresh Canvas right here, there is Dropbox. As you can see, now it's at the bottom though. So now we can go back to navigation, and let's say we want Dropbox at the top above Google Drive. And then of course, these little eyes or these dots means you can move the pages around. Let's say you want new analytics on the top, you want it down here, you want attendance up here. You can move, if you move it here, students are going to see this moved as well. So let's say you want grades as the number 1. Grades will be the first one, or you want it right here. That's how it would be. When you're done, you click on save, and then you're going to see those changes apply. So Dropbox is now up here, and as you can see, it was moved. So that's an important feature too, unless if you want to move your navigation bar. Feature options. This is if you want to change the course settings. Right now it doesn't appear because it's blank. This course doesn't have anything, but I recommend that you don't mess with anything on this section. If you want to, you can go ahead and check in your section and see if it's available. Integrations, there's usually none available. So that's pretty much at the end of this first video on this episode for this series. So this video showed you how to get started with your Canvas course and how to navigate its settings and how to get started. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to set your course homepage. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you can get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for the next episode. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time in my next video.